I couldn't tell that I was disappearing until I couldn't recognize my own voice. And every day started to feel like a weird rerun of one of those sitcom episodes where I wake up, clock in, drink coffee, and repeat. The people I worked with were the highlight for sure, and if they're watching this, I want them to know that I'm only a call away. But I felt like I'd been turned into a character, just the blonde barista with a bad sense of humor. But that wasn't the whole story. I was splitting between who I was and who I could be. So I started to write on anything, receipts, notebooks, napkins, just to hear myself think. And I started using my life experiences to create music and videos. And that's when I found Maeva Blue. It wasn't just a stage name, it was like a doorway or a defense. A version of me that never apologized for being too much or too little, and she was already there, I just had to find her and let her out. But when you're unapologetically yourself, sometimes people don't accept you or your art, and that's the hard truth. And I actually ended up getting fired for my content. I didn't plan this summer to be anything different from other years, but I guess I just had the feeling I needed to do something creative. I'm Maeva Blue, by the way, and welcome back to my series where I romanticize my life and call it A Maeva Blue Summer. This all started with a dream, a job, and too much caffeine, as most things do. But being an independent creative is hard, like really hard. And it gets messy and chaotic. Sometimes there are things that hold you back, but it's also pretty beautiful. This is the story of the side quests that turned into a soundtrack. And this isn't a coming of age movie, but I'm gonna treat it like one because this is the story of what happened after I stopped being a people pleaser and embraced the summer of creative chaos. This is episode 3. What happened to being a barista? So let's talk about the day I got fired. What a fun day. I remember it too clearly, dude. Life is crazy. So I was at work finishing my shift and my phone buzzed and I was like, I get texts all the time from work. It's probably nothing. But it was my manager saying I needed to come in for a meeting at like the main office. My stomach dropped, dude. So right after my shift, I went up there and had this meeting. So they had found my YouTube channel. And I was like, oh, cool, maybe I'll help them out with their social medias. But they told me I had to delete all of my coffee-related content to keep my job. And I was like, what? What do you mean, delete all of it? Mind you, Life of a Barista was dropping the next day, like that night at 12 a.m. This was crazy timing, literally crazy timing. But the whole meeting, I was a mess. I was like crying. I was trying not to break down or anything because I was like, I need to keep this professional. Yeah, I was on the verge of a complete mental breakdown. I loved that job so much, and my coworkers were amazing, and I mean, making coffee every day was so much fun. I genuinely loved it so much, so I was really torn. I felt like I had to decide between my future, which is music and entertainment, and then my current job, which I loved. Like, it wasn't just an easy, then, okay, I'll quit, whatever, fire me. So I went home crying, and I did not know what to do. I was so stuck. But I went to work the next day. Life of a Barista had dropped that morning, so I was very excited. I was riding the high of the release party the night before, but I was also terrified because I didn't want them to listen to it and be like, take down everything right now. But I had another meeting with them and I told them that I couldn't delete the content, and if that meant that I couldn't work there anymore, then I was prepared for that. So that was my last shift and the day Life of a Barista dropped. So fun stuff. So I actually wrote Life of a Barista when I was working at a different coffee shop than the one that I had previously been working at. And it was a funny song at the time because I did feel like I was kind of trapped in that job. And I was like wrapped around their finger, But I didn't truly feel that way until the second coffee shop, when I felt like I couldn't create anything or use my creative outlets like I had been. So it felt like it was controlling a lot of my life, like my whole life, basically. Really interesting how those lyrics kind of carried over, 9 to 5 was a killer, but now they're gonna miss me, and I'm really gonna miss her. Or not. Either way, let's talk about Matcha. So Matcha was the recovery song from all of this shenanigans. It was the getting over it anthem, you know? Unemployed, I had so much time to just do whatever I wanted, and I felt a bit like a dropout, like how I imagine a dropout would in college. The rest of my friends were still at work, or they were in school, and I was just over here kind of floating around aimlessly, not employed, plenty of time on my hands, and it was a vibe. Honestly, I really enjoyed it. I felt like I wanted freedom so badly when I was writing Life of a Barista, and now I had freedom, but no one to enjoy it with. So Matcha is like a reflection of that feeling, where the person in the song, Maeva, is talking to one of her friends over the phone who is still in school after she dropped out, after Maeva dropped out. Which is how I feel! Life needs to freaking match my energy! So yeah, I got fired, I dropped Life of a Barista, I wrote Matcha, and turned 19, then dropped Matcha, all within like 7 days. Just an average start to your summer, you know? But now I'm here, just enjoying life because it's really not that deep. Life of a Barista and Matcha are out anywhere you stream music if you want to go hear them and follow along with the story, because there is a story behind those songs. It's not just like a, ooh, 9 to 5's a killer. It's following the same character, if you want to think about it like that. I feel like I'm kind of turning into Maeva Blue and not being as much of a people pleaser as I was, and this was a reflection of that. Well, I think that's it for story time. Lots more stories to share in the future, I'm sure, but for now, catch you next week. See ya.